It felt like performing a walk of shame with boxes. I spent the entire Saturday hauling my embarrassingly small pile of belongings out of the apartment I'd been squatting in and into the one that was actually mine. With every trip across the hallway, I pictured all the other tenants peeking through their peepholes, whispering, "Isn't that the girl who's been living in the wrong place all this time? Do you think she even pays rent? What's in that yellow mug she's guarding like treasure?" The worst part was passing by Olive, the calico cat. She sat curled on the welcome mat outside the door I was vacating, tail flicking, looking at me as if to say, "Oh, so now you're leaving? I finally got used to you. I actually apologized to a cat." "Sorry, Olive. It's not you, it's the lease." The cat blinked slowly, unimpressed. Inside, my accidental roommate, whose name I finally learned was Claire, offered to help me carry things, but I insisted on doing it myself. Pride, stubbornness, and a deep need to atone for the world record level of awkward I'd caused all fueled me to play pack mule. My possessions were hilariously meager for someone who had lived there for months. A chipped yellow mug. A potted fern that was somehow still alive despite my neglect. A stack of thrift store plates. A laundry basket full of clothes that looked suspiciously like they'd been folded by a raccoon. 2 grocery bags of random kitchen gadgets that I never used. At one point, as I balanced the fern on my hip and nudged my new door open with my elbow, I had this absurd thought. I'm literally moving 2 doors down. I could have just thrown it all out the window and dragged it across the hallway. The process would have been faster, if not for the parade of awkward interactions that happened along the way. On my third trip, a neighbor I'd never met stepped out with his trash bag and raised an eyebrow. "Moving out already?" he asked. I smiled weakly. "Yeah, kind of a long story." By my 5th trip, another neighbor popped her head out and offered me cookies, thinking I was new to the building. I didn't have the heart to explain that I was technically old to the building but new to the correct unit. By the 7th trip, I was sweating, mortified, and already plotting to never leave my new apartment again. Finally, with everything crammed into the right apartment, I shut the door behind me and collapsed onto the bare floor. I remember looking around at the empty space, the same layout as Claire, only with fresh paint and no hint of another person's life, and thinking, this should feel like a fresh start, but somehow it feels like I've downgraded from a sitcom to a sad indie drama. That's when I heard a soft knock. I opened the door to find Claire holding 2 mugs of tea. "Thought you could use a break," she said, smiling. I accepted the mug, not the yellow one, hers was far nicer, and we stood in the doorway sipping tea like 2 soldiers after a strange